Hello, thank you for joining me. Today we're going to look at the Goddesses knowledge cards, and it is a nice handy box, easy I think to put in your pocket or your bag. They are paintings by Susan Seddon Boulet, text by Michael Babcock, and they're published by Pomegranate. Okay, so I'll just get these out. There's no illustration book with these, or no information leaflet at all. Just a set of cards, but this is the box, so it's not as flimsy as some of the other boxes I've got. It's a little bit sturdier. So there are 48 goddesses from Greek, Roman, Celtic, Native American, Egyptian, Middle Eastern and Scandinavian mythologies in this deck, and they're to enhance our understanding of the role of the feminine deity from ancient history to the present day. In learning about goddesses from different cultures, we can recognise these archetypes as parts of ourselves, allowing us a clearer vision of our strengths and weaknesses, giving us a common thread, a link to the collective consciousness. Okay, there you go. That's off the back there. I didn't read it all of it out, but that gives you the general gist of what they're about. Cards themselves are quite firm, quite nice, very glossy images. The back also is very glossy. So at the front you've got a painting of the goddess. At the back you've got a little bit of information about each goddess. And so this one is Epona from Celtic. I'm not going to read each one out. I'm just going to show you the cards to give you some kind of look at them, so you can decide if you want to go and get them yourself. This one is Eve. Now, as far as I'm aware, Eve was not a goddess. She was a Christian mother of humanity. And as I say, not a goddess, but maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. Maybe other people have a different view of Eve. Actually, I will read this one out just to see what it says. The word Eve means life. The goddess Eve is the mother and nurturer of all life. She is the creator of the world and of all living beings, lady of the beasts and steward of all growing things. Even in the Bible, she is portrayed with a snake, a potent symbol of the vital life force found in every living being, representing rebirth. That's the Kundalini, isn't it? So representing rebirth and regeneration. In one of the Gnostic texts, it is Eve who calls Adam to life. Eve is the embodiment of primal female creative energy, of the powerful urge to create and sustain life. She is active femininity and relatedness to all that lives. She is life itself. Okay, there you go then. So maybe Eve, because we all know that a lot of the Christian stories are based on pagan stories, when they decided they wanted to take everything over. So maybe Eve was a pagan goddess originally then. Okay, so there's Pegasus. Now this one, I'm turning it that way because the writing's there. This is actually Medusa. And the reason we've got Pegasus there is because when Medusa was slain, the winged horse Pegasus sprang from her blood. So we don't so much have a picture of a goddess, we have the picture of the result from the death of a goddess. There you go. Okay, there's that one. I could, yeah, there we go, it is that way, isn't it? Because you've got the lake or the sea there. This is Aphrodite, and they do say that she sprang from the sea, which is probably why she's pictured here underneath the sea. Okay, so she comes from the Greek. This is Artemis. And here we've got it's almost like lungs, isn't it? It says about Artemis, the archaic mistress of animals, probably dates back to Paleolithic times. Her realm is the wilderness, and her concerns extends to all the wild, untamed things. Wow. Now here we have Diana, the goddess of the hunt. Also sometimes referred to as Lady of the Beasts, because she's a hunter. Now here we've got Venus, and I'm not really sure why they've got Venus and Aphrodite, because it's the same goddess, isn't it? Just one's Greek, one's Roman. And here we have the triple goddess. And I like the fact that they've got the lion now. I don't know about anybody else, but I always think that cats and lions, tigers, whatever cat it is really, big or little, that they are linked to the goddess. And I don't think enough is actually done with that link. Here we have Bast, another cat goddess, and she was very important in ancient Egypt. This is Fortuna, a Roman goddess. And she presided over the abundance of the earth. And I think they also used to call to her for good fortune as well. I think that's where it actually came from. This one is Caltas, the moon goddess, venerated by the Ugric peoples of western Siberia. And a shapeshifter, she's known here, or she's shown here, manifested as a hare, which is sacred to her. This is the Lady of the Lake, from the King Arthur legend. But again, was the Lady of the Lake an actual goddess? Maybe. I suppose it depends on how you see it, doesn't it? Is that way? I think you can do it that way, can't you? Or that way. This is Mary, closely allied to the Middle Eastern moon goddesses. Like them, she's a creator goddess, associated with both the heavens and the sea or other waters. She's worshipped by the Catholics as the moon of the church. Do Catholics worship Mary? I know they pray to her, but I don't think they actually worship her. This is Minerva. So you can see, looking at these, very, very glossy, even on the other side. Still very glossy, good thick cards. Nice size. I can easily get my hands around them. That's another Roman goddess. The colours used are quite deep, but sometimes I think it's a little bit difficult to see any detail in the cards. But this is Morgan Le Fay, again from the King Arthur Legends. And it says on here that she's a green goddess, ruler of the mystical island of Avalon. And again, I think Morgan Le Fay, because she's often portrayed as a witch in the King Arthur Legends, and even related to Arthur in some of them. So yeah, again, I think it depends on your own perception, doesn't it, whether you think she's a goddess or not. This one is Hina, a Polynesian goddess, the original creator of the world. That's that one. Here we have another cat goddess. This one is Ixchel, an ancient Mayan moon goddess who reigns supreme throughout the Yucatan Peninsula in southern Mexico, as far south as El Salvador, for more than a millennium. She's also called the Queen, our mother, the White Lady, and goddess of becoming. Although married to the sun, she's fiercely independent, allowing no one to own her. She remains free to come and go as she chooses. As a fertility goddess, she makes women fruitful and sends fertilizing rains to the earth. She is particularly honoured as a patroness of childbirth and a healing goddess of medicine. Like many moon goddesses, she is the patroness of weaving. Ixchel, like the waxing and waning moon, is comfortable with all sides of life. Her energy is midwife to her own creative ideas. There you go. This is White Shell Woman, or White Bead Woman, also called Turquoise Woman and Abalone Woman. And I was trying to see if it says where. Oh yeah, this is Native American Navajo. Okay, and then this one is Changing Woman, and again Native American. And this one is High Priestess. Again, is that a goddess? The priestess is the direct representative of the goddess on earth. Yeah, but she's not actually a goddess, is she? She represents the goddess. And she can sometimes, some people can channel the goddess through them, but she's not actually a goddess. So some of these cards I think could be maybe a little bit better. They could have chosen some better examples. But this is Thetis, a Greek sea goddess representing fertility. And this is Pele, a Hawaiian volcano goddess. This is Persephone, and as most people know, this is a Greek goddess that was taken to the underworld by Hades for 6 months of the year. Here we've got Ishtar, the Babylonian goddess, and she's the one that went to the underworld. Also a bit like Persephone. Here this is Isis and Osiris, and back to the ancient Egyptian. So as you can see, it has the details on the back of each one. And I think the pictures are quite nice. This one is Gaia, and as most of us know, this is the Earth Mother. And there you've got some images of not only the human but some of the animals on there as well. This is Hel. This is a Norse goddess of the underworld, and it's said that she was half woman, half rotting corpse, but she rules the underworld, those who died of old age and disease. Nothing like the Christian hell, by the way. This is Hera, the Greek goddess, and if I remember rightly, she's the wife of Zeus. This one is Inanna, an ancient Sumerian mother goddess. Have I got that right? I think she's lying down, isn't she? Not really sure which way that should be. But this is Amphitrite, an ancient Greek triple goddess in her guise as ruler of the sea. Her name, used synonymously with the ocean by Homer, means the third one who encircles. A moon goddess, Amphitrite retained her individuality even under the later Greeks, who had her married to Poseidon. She has special concern for all creatures of the sea and is responsible for the foaming waves. And just as Amphitrite can moderate the winds and the sea, she can learn to calm the waves of our inner storms. Here we have a Valkyrie, and again, this is not a goddess as such. And the Valkyries were the war maidens who rode out with the goddess Freya. But on the back of this card it says this is a bird goddess, one of the ancient goddesses, both a life-giving creator and a goddess of death and regeneration. The name Valkyrie means chooser of the slain, and the Valkyries rode out with Freya to choose the dead who would sit with them instead of with Odin. Here we have another cat goddess. Now I find this one a little bit strange as well, because this is Hathor. Now in ancient Greek, Hathor is the cow goddess, the mother, and she's seen with the horns of the cow, but for somehow, it even says on the back of this card, usually portrayed as a cow. She's a sky goddess, queen of the heavens. The sun emerges from her womb and the moon from her breast. She's goddess of love, mirth and beauty and sensual pleasure, as the protectress of all women. In her other guise, shown here, she is lady of the night and queen of the underworld, with her lion's head. Hathor assumes the role of destroyer and giver of death. Now that was actually Sekhmet was the destroyer, but anyway, there you go. Again, I suppose it depends on your perception. This is Psyche, and again, Psyche was not really a goddess. She was a woman who goes to a castle. Actually, let me just read the first bit off the card. Story of Psyche tells of a mortal woman taken to a mysterious castle to be married to a fierce dragon. Her husband comes to her in the middle of the night and she falls in love with him. Told that she must never look upon his face, she disobeys this injunction and finds that her husband is really Eros, the god of love. When he awakes, he flies away, leaving her forever. So she's not really a goddess again. Okay. Again, which way to hold this card, I'm not really sure, but this is Rhiannon. So she's a Celtic goddess. There you go, Rhiannon. Then we've got Selene or Selene, ancient Greek goddess of the moon. This one is the Sphinx, and again the Sphinx is not a goddess. An ancient moon goddess, so they say, is a goddess of birth and death. Part animal, part human, she remains connected to her deep instinctual nature. Most stories emphasize her aspect as a death goddess who carries the dead to the underworld. Often portrayed as a lion, she shares in the solar and regal symbolism of that animal. But the ancient Egyptians had a few lion goddesses, such as Sekhmet and Tefnut, and there was a few others as well. I can't remember all their names now. This one is Themis, another Greek goddess. This is Lilith. And again, I'm questioning the goddess status here, because Lilith is from the Old Testament, and I think it's more along the Jewish stories, where she's portrayed as Adam's first wife, and she's actually turned into a demon by later Christians. But is she a goddess? It states on the back of the card, Lilith is a Middle Eastern goddess of abundance, fertility and fecundity, the giver of agriculture to humans. The first woman created and the first wife of Adam. She refused to be subordinate to Adam in any way. Lilith is associated with the owl, a figure of darkness and deep wisdom. She is a goddess of death and transformation. Sometimes represented as a demonic figure, her dark wisdom and her sexual energy can be very threatening. She is known to appear as a frightening figure in dreams. Okay, so I'm not going to read any more of that, but again, though, as I say, is she a goddess? Okay, this is Spider Woman, a goddess among many southwestern Native American tribes. This is Flora, a flourishing one, a Roman goddess of flowers, gardens and spring. This is Kuan Yin, revered throughout Asia, is the Chinese goddess of infinite mercy and compassion. This is Demeter, and she's the mother of Persephone. And as I mentioned before, Persephone is a goddess that was taken underground for 6 months of the year by Hades. And this is Arianarod, another Celtic goddess. Now I'm not really sure how to pronounce this one. Lazolteotl, and she is a Toltec Earth Mother. There you go. See if you can pronounce that name there. I'm sure you'll all have a good try. This one is Athena, another Greek goddess. Quite like that picture. This is Seddon. Now it said with this one, I'll just read some of the back again. She was a beautiful Eskimo woman who lived with her father. None of the local suitors appealed to her, and she refused to marry until a fulmar, a type of bird, which is a type of seabird, from across the sea, promised to take her to his home of luxury. When she found she'd been deceived and was ill-treated, she begged her father to take her home. As the two were crossing the water, a flock of fulmars, fishermen, I don't know where I got that from, a flock of fulmars caused a huge storm to arise. To save his own life, Seddon's father threw her into the ocean. As she clung to the boat, he chopped off her fingers, which turned into whales, seals, and all the mammals of the sea. Seddon descended to Adlivum, the Eskimo underworld, where she now rules the dead, to ensure that she will continue to send food to hunters. Shamans descend to visit her, comb her hair, and massage her mutilated hands. Sedna is a reminder of the nourishing gifts that are to be found deep in the dark, cold places that we most fear. Interesting. This is another Native American one. This is Eagle Woman. And this one is Etienne. And this is another Celtic moon goddess. So these are the goddess cards. Not embossed, so you can draw around those if you wanted to, colour those. So we've got the details on the back, nice picture on the front, very glossy cards. I don't read with these, but they're quite nice to pick out one a day, something like that. It's quite nice to have a look at. They are nice pictures, nice cards, but I do question some of the validity of being a goddess, but like I said, I think it's your perception anyway, and I think some people will see those ones that are questioned will be goddesses for some people and not for others. It depends on whether you want to see that or not. So that's the goddesses knowledge cards. Let me know what you think. If they are something that you use yourself, just let me know. And also let me know in the comments below whether you think that some of those are goddesses or not. What are your thoughts on them? That's a box. Let's say it's printed or published, I should say, by Pomegranate. And it does say that on the bottom, Pomegranate Communications, and it's Portland, so it's an American company. But I like the pictures, so therefore it is a nice collection in or a nice deck in my collection, but they're not tarot. But they're nice to, let's say, pick out one a day, or if you just want a little bit of maybe guidance, as you do in some of the angel decks, you can pick one of these cards out as well. So click subscribe if you want to see any more of my decks, both tarot and oracle, and even some of the others that I've got. Click subscribe and you'll be told when I publish them onto YouTube. And click like below as well if you like it, or if you don't like it, click dislike, but let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Okay, so thanks for joining me. Catch you next time. Bye.